All right, welcome back, everybody, to a special episode of Explore the Force. We're here to discuss season 3, episode 8 of The Bad Batch. But you'll notice I'm joined by a new guest. This is Alina. Alina, how was your day so far?
It was pretty good. A little bit tiring, but yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Um, so, Alina, you live in New York. Yeah?
Yeah, I live in the tri-state area, but I go to school
Okay,
in New York
try
City. Yeah.
to go to school in New York City. Very cool. And you're a massive Star Wars fan.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So, what would you say pulled you into the because you're I'm almost 50 years old, so you're very young. This is kind of fun on you're the age of most of my high school students.
hmm
What pulled you into Star Wars?
I think it's very nostalgic for me because I kind of grew up on watching the movies. But the movie that really pulled me in was Attack of the Clones. It's a very underrated movie, but it kind of has that princess and prince aspect of it. And when I was younger, I was very into that. So I feel like, we got flirtatious Anakin and then we got royal regal Padme. And I feel like that was just so cool to me. And that movie is so dynamic. It has all the lightsaber fights, the arena scene. It's really cool. It's so underrated. But yeah, I feel like after that movie, I was like, oh my God, I love this stuff. So I just continued watching.
Well, that's very cool. Like most girls your age at that time are watching like Disney films and
Yeah.
Ariel, all that. But you're watching Padme and
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker. That's awesome. So I'm assuming you're watching these with your parents. Is like your mom, your dad, your parents. Are they big Star Wars fans? Did they kind of help spark that in you?
My dad introduced me to the movies. He's very supportive of my account and like everything that I do. So he definitely is a very big Star Wars fan. My mom is more of a Harry Potter fan, which I like
Oh,
that
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely my dad was very into Star Wars. Yeah, so I
Oh,
kind of
very
got that.
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, Harry Potter's great too, man. I love
Yeah.
Harry Potter. My wife really loves it. We usually rewatch all the films.
Yeah.
Um, so, all right. So, how do you feel about the state of Star Wars right now? Like, you're pretty young, right? But you seem like you have a really good grasp on things. What do you
Yeah.
think of the state of Star Wars with, all the things positive and negative? How is it for you to be a fan? Because you have a massive following on Instagram, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So, you know, you're in it more than even we are. So, what do you think the state of Star Wars? How do you feel about it?
Um, well, okay, so there's obviously a lot of hate going on towards Disney, and it's obviously very controversial. I think that a lot of the things that Disney has created is perfect. It's amazing. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequels. I am not very happy about how they kind of like undid the originals. I don't know if this makes
Yeah.
sense. However, the cinematography was incredible.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I feel like we're getting so much new content and everybody wants it to be perfect and it's impossible to satisfy everybody. So that's why there's always going to be people hating on a show. But a lot of the times, the shows are really good. They have great actors, great scripts, lightsaber choreography is getting better compared to the sequels. So yeah, I am very happy as a Star Wars fan right now because we're getting so much new content.
Awesome. Yeah, I would agree with you fully. I mean, without Disney, I don't have
Yeah.
a hobby to do. I'm not talking to you. I'm not meeting new people. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't all been perfect, like you said, but yeah, it's more content is so great. Yeah, that's a really great outlook on it. Do you
Mm.
have a favorite characters? I mean, for me, it's hard, so I know like asking for one character, but do
Mhm.
you have a favorite one?
I am a diehard Ahsoka fan. I just like the way she matured. Like we saw her grow from a
Mm.
teenager to like being my age, and I'm kind of like she was actually the same age as me during like Clone Wars, which is kind of scary to think. Like, can you imagine like me fighting off the 501st like Legion? But I think that she had a very, very good like character arc, and now Rosario Dawson is doing an incredible job as being Ahsoka. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. That's kinda good too. I we'll talk about this obviously a little bit, but I see some of the same stuff in Omega,
Yeah.
the character growth over these last 3 seasons. Now, obviously, Ahsoka's probably had more more screen time. We've talked about this on our show before than almost any character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people resonate with her because she has had such a great arc. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. Um, now let's dive into your account. How did you come up with the name? Tell everybody the name and how you came up with it because it is really creative.
So the name is The Phantom Mimas. The story behind it is really funny because um, The Phantom Menace has never been my favorite movie, but for some reason, it has just been in my life the longest, if that makes sense. Like I just kept on seeing it come up in my life, social media, whatever. And my dad, it was his idea because at first my account started off as solely like a meme page, and he was like, "Oh, meme, the Phantom Memus," and it kind of went from like the Phantom Menace, the Phantom Memus, the Phantom Memus. That's where I am now. So yeah, yeah, we got to thank my dad. He's very proud of that one, by the way.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Tell him I give him 2 thumbs up. That's a
Hmm.
super clever name.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And tell people a little bit about your Instagram page, like the stuff that you post and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm only on Instagram. I'm just saying that right now. I make a lot of funny content. Like I just get random
Yes, you
thoughts in the
do.
shower, and just kind of throw it out there. I don't really have a plan. I don't know where I'm going with this. Um, However, I have, as you said, like I am connected with a lot of people, which is cool because I'm able to collaborate with a lot of people. Like I went to Disney's Galaxy's Edge a month ago. It was my first time. It was like amazing,
Yeah.
and I met up with this girl that I've never met. We made a bunch of content together, which was so much fun. Um, and yeah, so I actually will start a 6-month contract with Neo Sabers, which is really cool. They are an incredible brand, and they have a lot of affordable options too for students like me. So yeah, I'm just kind of going for it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan. I still think that this is my hobby. Like I don't feel like this is my job or anything like that. I just have fun giving back to the community and just having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of how we met, right? Because you posted
Hmm.
a funny video about not having anyone to talk about the Bad Batch with.
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Hey, come talk on our show." So I thought that was pretty funny. And then I'm assuming you're talking about the young lady that like you guys had made all those videos down in Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge where you're going back and forth with the lightsabers. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Star Wars community, for all the negativity, there has been so much like it's so fun. We're about a year old as far as like May the 4th here this year
Yeah.
will be our 1 year anniversary. And we've made so many friends, and being international for us has been kind of cool because we're making friends in different countries and kind of
Hmm.
spreading out. And I think that's some
Yeah.
for us, it's the best part of doing all this
And
is, and
just
obviously,
yeah. And just like letting you know, my account's official birthday is coming up in like a few days, which is really cool because I've had this account for exactly a year. That's kind of crazy.
yeah,
Not
because
gonna lie.
you're doing a giveaway, right?
Yeah, I am doing a. Me and SaberX Canada are doing a giveaway. I might actually post on my story a little bit later today about the saber that we're giving away. It's super exciting. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll post some stuff for you. Make sure you send it to us. We'll collaborate on it with you and get it pushed out there. So
Hmm.
let's talk about season 3 of the
Hmm.
Bad Batch. Okay, so season 1, season 2. I've gone on the air a lot of times saying season 1. I was like, Season 2, I was all in. I was actually watching it before I'd watched the Mando season
Hmm.
3 because I thought it was a better story arc. How are you feeling about the Bad Batch as a whole? And of course, season 3. You feel like it's all coming together?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I like the fact that we're not getting filler episodes. Like each episode has a beginning, middle, and end, and it's kind of like connecting together in a really cool way. And we're kind of getting different perspectives on everything. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot right now. It's very cool. I
Yeah.
think so.
All right. So you're happy with season 3 so far? I think you're right, though. A lot of it moving forward really, really fast pace. I thought the first 3 episodes, I was like, if we continue this breakneck speed, where we're going to be. And I do think they've slowed down a little bit, but there's been a lot of character development, which I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about. Um, but so season 3, episode 8, Bad Territory. It opens up back on Pabu. Um, and, right away, we've got all of our clones. We've got Omega there. And then, of course, Fee calls them all in. She's a liberator of ancient wonders. I thought that was pretty
She's a
clever.
pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a pirate. The humor in this season has gotten so much better. I think Omega's
Yeah.
really kind of finding her voice.
Well, yeah, well, she's
And they,
kind of becoming a teenager. She's kind of like a little bit more, sarcastic in some ways. Like she's kind of, you can tell that she's growing and becoming more like, you know, quirky and stuff.
yeah, definitely more confident than she was. But yeah, I love the growth we've seen in her so far. And then Fee, of course, tells them, and I've never heard this before, class one bounty hunters looking for the M count targets. And of course, we know what M count means. The dreaded midichlorians that,
Yeah.
some people in the fandom hate, some people love. How do you feel about them not actually saying midichlorians,
I mean,
kind of
it
hiding away from it?
it adds mystery, I'd say. Like it kind of brings us to the perspective of the Bad Batch who have no clue what the M count is, and I feel like we're kind of like, oh, midichlorians M count, but it's kind of like it's a cool tactic to include for us Star Wars fans, like for us to enjoy.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Kind of seeing it, we're kind of going through this through the Bad Batch and Omega. Yeah, very good. I think of course, our group, they divide up. We've got an action scene with Hunter and Wrecker, and we've got what I'm calling like the heart of the episode with Omega and Crosshair, and we're going to dive into the action side of things. So Hunter and Wrecker, they take off and they go to what they don't say where it is, but I kind of got like Ring of Caffrine vibes from like from the well, sometimes I just blank from Rogue One, sorry, or the space
Yeah.
station and the prisoner in this first season of Mando. But did you think that was Greedo that she was talking to, or just some Rodian?
I think I don't think it was Greedo. I feel like he wouldn't have just stood up and walked away. I feel like, there would have been a bigger interaction. He kind of like got scared and ran away. So I feel like that wasn't
Yeah.
Greedo.
All right. Yeah. Um, for me, I don't know about you, like watching like the Bad Batch when they're fighting wars and they're fighting bad guys, they seem to be exactly in their element. But every time that comes to dealing with things in the real world, they seem lost, right? And
Yeah,
Fennec
no.
just kind of works them over. What do you think about Fennec Shan in this episode?
I was very happy to see Mother. She is one of my favorites. She has so much power and control over people. Like
Mm,
it's not like she's trying, but she's so witty, she's so smart. And she's an excellent bounty hunter and she knows what she's doing. She knows how to take advantage of people. And in Star Wars, that's a very good skill to have because it's Star Wars. So yeah, I was very excited to see her back.
yeah, she seems to work those guys exactly how she wants. They're going to
Yeah.
do all the hard work. She's going to collect all the money for it. That's the way to live, I think.
Yeah.
She's got it. She's got it all figured out.
Hmm.
Um, So of course they go on and they're going after a bounty hunter or a villain named Siler, which we'll talk about
Yeah.
in a minute. But did you catch the Haxion Brood reference? Have you played Jedi Fallen Order? You haven't played Jedi
No.
Fallen Order, so
No.
that's of course is no, that's okay. You probably don't have a lot of time from the stuff that you've told me how
Yeah.
busy your days can be. I imagine that you don't probably have a lot of time. I typically, as a teacher, have to wait until summertime hits
Hmm.
before I can actually
Yeah.
dive into these games and stuff. But the Haxion Brood was this bounty hunter gang that was chasing Cal Kestis around because
Hmm.
of one of the, and Cal is obviously the main character of those video games. But I thought that was kind of cool because they're kind of bringing, you know, because the High Republic was in the second one, and they're kind of bringing that into mainstream now. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and I love that connectivity that we're seeing, especially after how the sequels were kind of
Yeah.
not connected as well as they should be. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
um,
it's kind of sad because I have never been a video game person, although I feel like I would love to play them. I grew up reading books. I'm a like a bookworm.
um, where were we at here? Okay, so what did you think about the environment? Like people always complain about the planets. Oh, they've done another sand planet. They're doing this. They didn't go back to Tatooine, so that's good, right? That's always a good start.
Yeah.
We didn't go to Tatooine. I kind of got Florida swamp vibes.
Yeah.
Those hover boats and things like that. Did you like the
With the
environment? I thought it was pretty
It
neat.
was very cool. No, it basically was Florida with the gators. It was Florida basically.
Yeah. Um, I always wonder too, though, why they use boats anywhere in Star Wars when they can just fly over everything. Do you ever wonder about that? I'm kind of like, why?
Yeah,
It looks
no.
cool,
I just
like
realized,
that.
yeah.
That boat looks cool because I watch it. Usually watch it during my playing with another teacher. We're like, that boat looks really cool, but why do they need boats so they can just kind of fly over everything? But
Maybe to
yeah,
be
that makes
quieter. Just
yeah, no,
yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah. Fennec has a quote she says while they're on the boat, right? Because like they get in the water, they have that big tussle with the alligators. They're diffusing all these bombs while Fennec's just up there.
yeah.
And Wrecker goes, "You'll take money from anybody," and she goes, "Good guys, bad guys, money's all the same." Did you get like DJ vibes from the Last Jedi from her?
Sorta. I don't really remember The Last Jedi either way. So, um, yeah, but yes, like this is exactly what I'm saying. Like I feel like she knows what she wants and she goes for it. Like I just applaud
Yeah.
her character. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's got yeah. It's kind of weird to think that where she's going to end up with like Boba Fett and things like that. She seems a little bit more mild in Boba Fett, except for at the very very end, than what she seems like so far in these. We saw her in season one, and hopefully we get more of her in this season. I
Definitely.
mean, who doesn't love Fennec Shan? She's become like lots of cosplay and a big, pretty awesome character. But of course, they go in there, they they fight, which Siler, he was kind of scary. I thought, like a praying mantis, like
Yeah.
drool coming out of his mouth, like um, I was like, ah, and then all the fighting, and they stunned him like 47,000 times.
Yeah. It was
so,
pretty
uh,
intense.
yeah, I thought that was pretty good. But so that kind of ends, and we'll talk a little bit about that, how it ends at the end. But did you like that arc with those characters? And given the information that Nala Se pulled Fennec off of them.
I thought that yeah, it was like we got to see Hunter and Wrecker in a different environment, like not like a fighting style, more of like a um essentially them being bounty hunters. Like we saw
Hmm.
them do that, which I feel like is kind of it's not new, but it's very dynamic and exciting for the
Yeah,
viewers.
yeah. I thought it was a good combination, seeing those two kind of getting worked over by Fennec and them doing
Yeah.
exactly what they do, and you know, and it, and it's also sweet, like as you know. I worry about my students and things like that, and you know everything they're doing. They don't want to be doing it, but they're doing it because they love Omega, and it kind of drives them forward. So, um, it's really cool
Yeah.
to watch those guys do all that stuff for her. Yeah, so the action was really, really good. Now we're gonna get into the heart of the episode. Omega and Crosshair. They've got to spend a lot of time together um, over these last 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Um, and how do you feel about because Crosshair right now he kind of reminds me of a guys in the 80s and 90s who are all big and macho and like he's fighting this whole mental health thing and of course in today's society there's no stigma with mental health. If you need help you go and get it, and he
Yeah.
just reminds me of like like a big macho man, like I don't need help, it's not my brain, it's they've done this
Yeah.
to me. What do you think about just that relationship between Omega and Crosshairs? Because I mean he was trying to kill her for 2 seasons
Yeah.
and now they're
Yeah. I I like the idea of a psychosomatic injury. I feel like we have not seen that in Star Wars. It's always a physical injury, but the fact that there's a mental aspect of it is very interesting. It's kind of new. It shows how much the Empire broke Crosshair, who doesn't will never act like he's broken. He's always a tough guy. And I like how like he's soft for Omega, and Omega's able to help him. Like he won't take advice from anybody else, but from Omega, he will change himself to help her. Like he'll seek help for her.
Yeah, he has come a long way. I felt like the end of season two, like, we have a lot of people get redeemed and they come back to the good side of things, but sometimes I don't feel like it's earned.
Yeah,
What he went through at the end of season two, I feel like he's earned this,
yeah,
and I like how they're not just letting him be perfectly fine. He's okay. Everyone loves him again. There's still distrust. There's still
yeah,
this and that. And he obviously has residual effects from some of the things that are happening to him or did happen to him in Tantus. Um,
yeah,
I think that this is a big episode for, you know, it's okay to need help. And I like that they're getting this, we got lots of kids that are watching this. So, watching these shows and it shows him, you know, seeking help
yeah,
reluctantly, of course. I
yeah,
did think that, that the conversation, she's like, well, maybe you're the one that has to fix it. And then I have an idea. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to like it. And she's like, you don't like anything. Right. So more of that humor, that banter between the two of them.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, Dave Filoni and Jennifer Corbett, the masters of bringing, callbacks. So they've got, them being on Kashyyyk and
Yeah.
doing all this. Um,
The
how did you feel
meditation.
about, the meditation, right? Because she was doing that with Gunji.
Hmm.
And then, of course, we got Batcher. How do you feel about Batcher? She's like one of my favorite characters in this season
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, she's
So,
so loyal and she's helped him out in so many different ways. Yeah.
and she's
I
sitting
wish
there
my
with
dogs
him.
were like that. Like,
Yes, yes. My
yeah,
dogs are
no,
never
she's
calm
really
either.
cool. Yeah.
So yeah, and then of course, that kind of ends there, and that it kind of just ends, and then it comes back to Fennec. And what are your thoughts? Who is Fennec talking to? Like, if you had, we still haven't seen Cad Bane, we still haven't seen Asajj. Who do you think she's talking to?
Yeah. So I actually saw this on Instagram. I was kind of like scrolling around to see what I can find. And basically, like obviously we know that Ventress is coming up. There is a chance that she could be talking to her. I'm not exactly sure how that would play like with the story. Like I'm not sure where that would go. However, it's a possibility. I mean, and I don't know if it's Cad Bane. I feel like it's I don't have anything to say. I have a gut feeling it's not Cad Bane. um,
Yeah.
and actually, I heard somebody say something about Boba because
Oh.
apparently at this point, how old would Boba be? This is
Well, he's like, I'm trying to think. He'd be a little bit older than Omega, right? Because she's a
yeah.
natural
I think
clone
he
like
would
he
be
is. He wouldn't
two.
be that much older, but he has
No.
had time. He was leading that group with Aurra Sing and Bosk and them, and
Yeah.
obviously Asajj Ventress in the Clone Wars. So he wouldn't be that old, but I mean, he'd probably be in his teens. So you think it could be
Yeah.
Boba, which would be pretty
It's a
cool.
possibility. It would be really cool.
Yeah.
However, right now I'm probably leaning towards Asajj because there is a chance that she became like um well, not a bounty hunter, but she kind of went her own way. She's her own character. Like it's her time to shine. She kind of like went away from
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, there's a lot surrounding her in this episode. Well, ever since she popped up on the trailer and people lost their minds.
Yeah.
In the book Dark Disciple, I mean, spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't read Dark Disciple, but
Yeah.
she's no longer with us in this point. Well, we think we're not really sure exactly when the timeline is, but people are kind of curious about that. And then the actress or actor, Nikki Fuderman, I actually met her 2 weekends ago, and she told me that this is just a teaser, like, there's more to come, right? And
Oh
people have
wow.
reported on this. We didn't report on it. We thought we just, we had that information, but, it's kinda gotten out there on Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff that she did tell a lot of people when we were in Kansas City, and, so people are kinda wondering, like, is Asajj gonna be the one that takes? Because she does become a bounty hunter, and she runs with Quinlan Voss, and so we're kinda curious. I think you're right, though. I'm kinda leaning towards Asajj as well.
Yeah.
Cad Bane, those 2 can't be friends, right? I mean, they were trying to
Exactly.
kill each
Like
other last time they saw each
yeah.
other.
Like I just
Um,
don't see them cooperating. I just can't imagine that in my mind. So it just not him.
no. No, definitely not. But he's gonna show up, so we know that. I
Yeah.
was kinda I thought he was gonna show up in this episode for whatever reason, but they're doing a good job of spacing everybody out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I had to say I agree with you. I don't know if it's like I want it to be her because I want that character back in Star Wars so badly. I want to see
Yeah.
her next week. But yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed that it's her and we get to see her soon.
Yeah.
Last season, Tech started getting pushed to the front, right? He started getting a lot more time in
Yeah.
our shows, and I think because he was kind of like the do you ever watch The Big Bang Theory? He's kind of like the Sheldon Cooper, like he
Yes.
um
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
yes, where he's all science and all matter of fact, and they started making us, the audience love him, and he almost kind of had a girlfriend with Fee, and then of course we know what happens.
Rest in
The
peace.
Yes, rest in peace. That was maybe one of the hardest deaths I've seen in Star
Yeah.
Wars. Are we being set up with Crosshair and Omega for another heartache, do you think? We've talked a lot on this show about, do any of the Bad Batch Clone Force 99 make it out of this season 3? Do you
Okay,
think we're getting
so
set up?
so I have two ideas about this, right?
All
So
right.
with Tech, he had an amazing arc, and I feel like his death was very influential, very powerful, and I feel like in the story it was a good thing to happen because it really showed like the connection between the Bad Batch. Like it really showed what they had to endure to like get out safely. However, I feel like killing off Crosshair, I don't know because I feel like he needs a redemption arc. You know, like this is his redemption arc. Like he's becoming better, and I the viewers are loving it, and I feel like um, I don't think they're gonna kill off Crosshair because of how important he is in this season. I feel like this is his redemption arc, and I feel like we're seeing how a person can change. However, we have already seen him sacrifice himself, not sacrifice himself, but push himself into the enemy to save his friends, to save Omega. I'm worried that he might do it in the future, and that's going to cost him his life. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't because he has such a brotherly relationship with Omega that it would be like
Yeah,
terrible.
it would be hard. It might be harder now that he's back and he's been redeemed. We've talked about the three of us, Jack, Taylor, and I. We can't really agree on who we think's going to survive because of course, they're not in anything that's about to happen as far as canon is concerned. So we're like,
Yeah,
where are they? But neither is Omega. So those stakes, the fact that we don't know what happens to them, it makes this pretty exciting show. I think that it's
yeah,
it's pretty fun. Um, but yeah, overall, I really like this episode. I think they kind of got back on track here. I thought,
yeah,
was it 6 and 7? The double arc was good, but I don't really
yeah.
know how much story was pushed forward on it, though. Um, any final thoughts on this episode?
Oh, one fun thing that I noticed. So in the club scene,
Mm.
so like at the bar, you could see how not the desk, like the countertop is glowing. It's like it has light shining through it. I was really happy to see that because in Galaxy's Edge at the cantina, they had the same exact thing. And I love the details. I love it when animators really care about the details. They designed everything, the countertops, everything. Like the music, the signs in the background. That was just really cool to me. So I was really excited because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah, the animation, man. I love it. I can't get enough
Hmm.
of it. I hope that, we know that this is the final season. I hope that this isn't the end of whatever they do next. I hope
Yeah.
that this animation continues with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very cool episode. I'm excited to see what happens. I know we have one or two more double episodes. I had to look at the schedule. I don't remember
Hmm.
exactly when, but do you have any predictions for like what you think is going to happen next week? Like, what do you think someone's going to show up? I mean, just I try not to do this because I don't want to get my hopes
Yeah.
up, but I'll make
I
you do
mean,
it.
it's about time because we've already gotten a good chunk, like 8 episodes, and we know that there are characters coming up. So I feel like next week we might get a character appearance, hopefully. But yeah, I'm just excited to see where it's gonna go. Like at this point, I'm just eating up all the content. I don't even want to think about the future. I'm just happy where we are now. And yeah.
Very, that's an awesome way to go through Star Wars. I think is not to have the
Yeah.
expectations and just kind of give what they take what they give us and enjoy it for what it is. Very
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Alina. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
Why don't you, again, tell everybody where they can find you on social media? Tell them a little bit more about your page, and then we'll go ahead and sign off.
So you can find me on Instagram, and my handle is the Phantom Mimas. I post a variety of content. I do lightsaber spinning. I just make funny content. Sometimes I post memes. I do a lot of collaboration with a lot of Star Wars fans, Star Wars content creators. I do a little bit of cosplay. I don't really have the time for cosplay. However, I do hope that in the future I will be able to do a lot more. And this is also my hobby, and I'm just really excited about contacting Star Wars fans, giving back to the community, sharing my love for Star Wars. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool. I am so thankful that you joined us. Hopefully, we can do it again soon.
Yeah.
Also, if people follow you, aren't you're about to have, like you said, 1 year anniversary of your, the
Yeah.
birthday of your show. You got a special like giveaway or something too, right?
Yeah. My account's birthday is coming up in a few days, and me and SaberX Canada partnered up, and we're giving away a brand new lightsaber. This is the type of lightsaber that we're giving away. It is very cool, and it's really easy to enter. You can check my story or just the first post on my page to enter. Yeah.
All right, well, very cool, and happy birthday in advance to
Thank you.
your account, and thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, we'll have you again soon. So, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. We'll be back for episode 9, and we'll see you all later.